Well, we just arrived in Ketchikan, loaded up the float plane, and we're getting ready to head out. Now, I'm super excited. Prince of Wales is one of my favorite places to bear hunt in the whole world, and now we're getting ready to head out to the tent camp, and I can't wait. Well, our float plane just took off and I'm up here in the middle of Alaska. Now this is probably my favorite hunt of the year and, well, it's my 4th time up here. I've had incredible luck predator calling bear in and I'm gonna try it again. The cool thing is there's nobody around. I've got a kayak up here, I've got another boat, I'm in a tent camp, no communication of any sort, but I'm hoping there's a ton of big bear out there. Black bears can be an extremely aggressive animal, and on this hunt, I would be predator calling. So if you find one that might have that much aggression in them, well, by predator calling, you're gonna bring that out. And the other thing is, I'm the bait. I'm the predator call, I'm the one who's moving, and I'm the one that bear will be locked into. So you really have to be careful because this can turn into an extremely dangerous situation in an instant. Well, we just had a bear up the shore, not very far, but he already busted up. Now, the good thing about this place, well, you got a lot of shoreline right now at low tide. The bad thing, this makes it extremely difficult to stalk. Everything on this beach is noisy. You've got clamshells that are making noise, you've got mussels here, and if you want to look for things that seem to be quiet, well, you might find some kelp, but that's a bad idea because they pop and make extra noise. You get on an entire area of them, they're popping, you've got everything making noise, and it really makes these stalks tough. Not to mention the wind is all over the place. When we started this stalk, the wind is perfect. I bet it switched at least 3 times. Now we've got a wind going straight down the shore. Just a minute ago, it was the other direction. So I'm almost to the point where I'm thinking about putting flagging tape in some of the coves. That way I know exactly what the wind is doing where the bears are at. Hard part is I have no idea what grass flat they're gonna come out to, but well, now we got a wind going a little bit the other way. Very typical up here, really tough hunting. Anytime you're spot and stock hunting, it's tough, but with shorelines like this, it makes it nearly impossible to stalk these bears. They can hear and smell everything, including me.
Dangerous Game is brought to you by Federal Premium Ammunition. Every shot counts. Blackhawk, Honor as a way of life. Weaver, tough shots, rough places. Champion, shoot better, have fun. Global Rescue, worldwide field rescue and evacuation services. Artworks Taxidermy, for the discriminating hunter. Capture the memory of your hunt for a lifetime.
Alaska is one of the most beautiful places in the entire world as far as I'm concerned. I've been lucky enough to travel quite a few places, and if there was one spot I had to pick to stay and hunt for the rest of my life, well, there's no question, it would be Alaska. Now that bear is just around this corner, so I'm gonna try to get to the corner and make my plan from there. The thing is, I've never been in this bay when the water is so low. The tide's at completely low tide right now, so I'm gonna try to get around, see what I've got for terrain, see what new terrain is here, and then try to make my stock. This bear is huge. I'm so out of breath from blowing that predator call. Oh my gosh, he wasn't gonna turn. I can't even breathe right now, and I'm not sure if it's from shaking. I'm telling you, that comes down to you better make the shot or he's coming after you. I felt I had a little security with this log, but that's not enough. Now that's the kind of blood trail a rage makes. Almost a foot wide. And you know what? I think I can see the bear right up here. Look at this beautiful bear. All I could see when this guy was coming in is this spot right on his head. The more I called, the more he came. And I didn't want to quit because I was afraid he may stop as well. But I was getting out of breath and I knew I had to make a shot. I was locked in at 30, and by the time this bear finally decided to kind of slow down a bit, he was at 18 yards. These guys don't turn. They're looking at you for lunch.
A long time ago, I was hunting up in the northern part of Vancouver Island, hunting on an estuary, and we were moving in on a black bear, and he was laying in the sedge grass there, and we could only see part of him. And so I lined the hunter up. I said, "Get ready. When he gets up, take your shot." And the bear got up on just two legs, just on his front legs, and the hunter shot. So he shot a little early, didn't let the bear stand up. He ended up gut shooting the bear. You know, with a gut shot bear, you could sit days for that bear to die out. So we had to go in after him. So we followed the bear for probably 100 yards, and then we got into a big chunk of windfalls. Finally, we got through the windfalls, and we got into on the west coast of the island. There's a lot of real thick salal. It's about 4 or 5 feet high, and the bears have to use tunnels to go through them. And their tunnels are about 3 feet high. So the only way you can move through them is on your hands and knees. Slide your gun along, and you crawl some more, and you slide your gun along, and we're following this bear and little bits of this and that. And followed for about another 100 yards. So we'd been tracking this bear for probably about 250 yards, and followed for about another 100 yards. So we'd been tracking this bear for probably about 250 yards, and finally we got to a place where we could stand up a little bit. So just got up and was kind of stretching my back a little bit, trying to shake it off, and suddenly I turned, and the bear was charging. and it came busting out of the bush so fast that I couldn't swing my gun. The bear leaped, and I could see the bear going for my face. That was the one thing I remember the most. So the bear jumped and got up on top of me, and I was holding it off with my gun, and clawed me across the face and clawed me across the chest, and I was holding it like this. And then the bear dropped to the ground, and it went back down the tunnel we had just come out of. So, you know, the adrenaline was pumping, so I dropped down to my hands and knees, and I grabbed my gun and I went after the bear as fast as I could with my hands and knees down the tunnel. And I could see the bear in front of me, and I was going fast, and he was going fast. And suddenly the bear took a left turn and went up a side tunnel, and I grabbed my hunter and we just kept going straight and didn't go after the bear for a little bit. And then we sat down, thought it through a little bit, and then we went back in after the bear, and we ended up finding it dead up the trail about another 300 yards.
Yeah, it may not be super early, but bear hunting, you don't have to be up at dark. So it's about 8, 9 o'clock, the tide is going out, and it's a perfect time to start looking for bear. So I'm gonna start, make a little breakfast, and then head out in the kayak and see what I can find today. Now the coolest part of this trip, I've decided to do the whole thing out of a tent and kayak. This is my mode of transportation, and it's perfect. The reason why, you can sneak up and stalk these bears on the water, get within 200 yards, then make your stop. It's silent and virtually needs hardly any water. Now, I just hope the big black bears are out of their den and out of hibernation and waiting for me. Now when it comes to black bears, well, I've taken a lot with my bow. But when it comes to guns, you want to make sure you're shooting a great caliber. A bear is a super tough animal, and you want to make sure you are using a bullet that's going to perform. You don't want to be hitting one of these bears and have it run away wounded, because your life could be in their hands.
Dangerous Game is brought to you by Federal Premium Ammunition. Every shot counts. Blackhawk. Honor as a way of life. Weaver. Tough shots, rough places. Champion. Shoot better. Have fun. Global Rescue. Worldwide field rescue and evacuation services. Artworks Taxidermy. For the discriminating hunter. Capture the memory of your hunt for a lifetime.
Well, it's been raining for about 3 days straight, and our camp is absolutely soaked. It's made it almost impossible to get out bear hunting. Now, the funny thing here, well, they told me I might need hip waders for the trip, and I've used them before, but I had no idea I was gonna need them to get in and out of my gear tent. Now, right now, it's completely soaked. In fact, it's like a big waterbed, so if you want something a little more comfortable, not the cleanest setup, but you're welcome to sleep in my gear tent. Either way, we're getting really down on the time. Just taking a quick break, heading back out, and hopefully we can connect with a nice bear out here. It was the last day, and I was determined to call in a bear. Luckily for me, the weather had cleared up, and I headed out on the water. Still a little bit too far. I'm gonna try to sneak up maybe another 75 yards. what the deal is. We just had a beautiful bear right out in the open, perfect setup for calling. I called, nothing. He could care less. In fact, I'm pretty sure he thought I was a bear because he started posturing a little bit. I kept moving down the shore. I tried every call I've got. I've got 3 different types of predator calls with me. He wasn't interested in any of them. Now, I've been up here before. Some bears, they don't like a certain call, so try another one. Sometimes it works, but I'm not sure what the deal is this year. This is probably my 3rd or 4th setup, and these bears are just not responding. Now, spring has been early all across the country so far this year, so I'm not sure if maybe spring's a little early here this year in Alaska. Maybe these bears have been out longer, but the problem with that is that bear wasn't rubbed up, and he was definitely a dominant bear. He was huge, that blocky body, and he was obviously, this is his territory. I don't know why he thought it was okay someone else was in there. It's a little frustrating, but sometimes when it comes to calling, can't win them all. Alaska's probably one of my favorite places, and it's not just about the hunting. Overall, it's just an absolutely beautiful area, and the people are wonderful. You can't hardly get nicer people than in Alaska. They are great, and the city is really cool. Ketchikan's probably one of my favorite areas, and one of the things that you'll notice is there's so many cruise ships coming in and out. The town is really built for tourism, and so as a tourist going up there, whether it be hunting or on a cruise ship, well, you will really enjoy the town and everything it has to offer. This is the type of hunt that I would recommend to any of my friends who were die-hard hunters. Now, you wouldn't want to tell someone to go camping for a week or 2 weeks up in Alaska on their own if they weren't really into nature and the outdoors. But overall, it's one of the best experiences I believe you can do as a hunter. You're on your own, you're in the elements, and you're in beautiful Alaska.